We'll be continue on talking on the platform Sutra, the chapter of Prajna. And last time we were on August 13th, and today's day is August 27th, and it's Sunday. Last time we talked about, at the end, we talked about all kinds of afflictions or vexation, and they're different names. So it's, one of them is heat, and then we talked to the so-called our mind is being entangled, just like knots that tie together because of our own vexations there. So now we talk about continue on. There are types of afflictions, and these afflictions can be divided into two categories. One is the view afflictions, and then the other one is practice afflictions. Now, view afflictions, actually, we already mentioned for the previous talk, referring to wrong views. And we put them into body, but the view of the body, the extreme view, and the evil view, and the view of attachment to views, and the view of rigid attachment to the precepts. So how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 kinds of views. So they are referring to the view afflictions. Now, the practice of afflictions refer to what? Refer to the gradual process of cultivation and gradual elimination of afflictions. It is not an immediate and permanent cessations. Now, the meaning of eliminating view afflictions. When a person first attains what is known as seeing one's nature, or eliminating view afflictions, it means that their knowledge, views, and concept will no longer be confused or fall into wrong views. Now remember this the term, seeing one's true nature. We often mention, of course, there are another name for it. Namely, it's called the moment of awakening, the moment of enlightenment. So here, seeing one's true nature, then it refers to also eliminating view afflictions. For some dedicated practitioner, when they experience significant changes in their body and mind, or a shift in their perspective, many believe that they have attained enlightenment or the path of seeing. These experiences can arise due to the practice of meditation, also external influences, encounters with divine beings, or Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, or even the blessing of fellow practitioners. It is possible for such experiences to bring about prolonged physiological and psychological transformations, and leading individuals to believe that they have attained enlightenment. Now, Shi Gong, or our teacher, Master Sheng Yan, or Shifu, give an example. He said that there was a professor who was originally from China. During the war, he went to India, and he had already been renowned as a lay Buddhist practitioner in mainland China. Although he may not have been considered an expert in Buddhism, his understanding and views were not incorrect. However, in India, where Buddhism had ceased to exist as a main religion, he met prominent spiritual teachers from various Hindu traditions. One day, the professor visited a famous teacher, and upon entering the gate of the monastery, someone was already waiting for him, saying that the teacher had informed them in advance about the arrival of a Chinese person at a specific time. The lay practitioner was astonished because he had only made the decision to come there the morning before, and no one should have known about it. He wondered how the teacher could have known. So when he met the teacher asked him to kneel. The teacher placed his hand on the lay practitioner's head, and at that moment, the professor suddenly disappeared and did not know where he went. Now, when I say disappear, it doesn't mean that physically disappeared, but he felt he disappeared. After a considerable amount of time had passed, the teacher removed his hand and asked the professor how long he felt the duration was. The professor said it felt like hundreds or thousands of years had passed. Yet it also felt incredibly short, as if no time had passed at all. The teacher explained to him that this state is called a breakthrough of time and space, transcending time and space, and it is liberation. The professor realized that he had only truly understood the meaning of liberation at that moment, and expressed profound gratitude to the teacher. At that time, Shigong or Shifu, well, Shifu was residing in Taiwan. And the professor wrote our teacher a letter expressing his puzzlement. He said that he had begun to doubt Buddhism, as Buddhism talked about liberation, but he did not truly understand what liberation was. He also mentioned that he had an insight into emptiness, a concept Buddhism discusses after receiving the blessings from the Supreme Being of Hinduism. He felt he had experienced and verified emptiness, but he still had doubts, because after leaving that mountain, although his perspectives had changed, his afflictions were still present. However, he longed to experience a state of liberation and emptiness again and again. So he repeatedly went up the mountain in the hope of receiving the blessings of the Supreme Being, as said or as stated in his letter. So he did not attain liberation. His experiences were due to external influences that temporarily halt the various mental activities, thoughts, or memories in his mind. During this period of cessation, he lost the sense of time and space. Therefore, in that situation, he mistakenly believed that he had attained liberation. In fact, such a person has not resolved the view afflictions. It was merely a temporary experiential state of body and mind. Thus, their afflictions persist. Okay. Now, let's talk about the self-nature view. We talk about a very important view called self-nature view, which arises from experiences in meditation and the attachment to one's own enlightenment or liberated state. All of this is the self-nature view. Those who hold the self-nature view haven't eliminated their view afflictions. It's just that their practice had led to changes and experiences in body and mind. Such individuals may find benefits in their daily lives, but there are issues with attaining true liberation through their practice. People with the self-nature view tend to have a strong sense of self-confidence, which is rooted in arrogance. As long as arrogance exists, the self-centeredness remains. And if the self-centeredness is not liberated, how can they be called enlightened. So let's discuss the cultivation and elimination of afflictions. Cultivating and eliminating afflictions means engaging in the actual practice of morality, concentration, and wisdom, gradually severing them. While view affliction was severed upon attaining the path of seeing, cultivating and eliminating afflictions is a gradual process that continues until the stage of the indestructible Vajra mind. So it's the stage of indestructible Vajra mind, or the state of the indestructible diamond mind. The so-called Vajra Samadhi, which is the final thought before attaining Buddhahood. Another term for cultivating and eliminating affliction is illusion of thought, or thought afflictions. So we have a new term here. One term is called cultivating and eliminating affliction. Another term is called thought afflictions, or illusion of thought. Now, this thought affliction referred to the repeated arising of defilement and afflictions. Why is it so difficult to eliminate them? In the Tiantai school, it divides the defilement into dust and ignorance. Defilements referring to afflictions of views and thoughts, while dust referred to various types of afflictions that arise, just like numerous specks of dust. Ignorance refers to the root of afflictions, the fundamental source of defilements. It lacks wisdom, hence its name, ignorance. With the arising of wisdom, ignorance is destroyed and referred to as realization or understanding. Therefore, in Buddhism, it is called internal realization, because it breaks through ignorance, the internal defilements that do not manifest externally. If one can transform internal ignorance into wisdom, that is internal realization. To explain that defilement mean in modern terms, defilement referring to the conflict in the mind, conflicts between body and mind, and conflicts between inner and outer. These are all defilements. Our mind cannot maintain balance and often fluctuate rapidly. Such individuals are called emotionally unstable. They are heavily burdened by defilements and are overwhelmed by them. Ironically, they don't even understand what defilements are and what is not defilement. Therefore, people who frequently experience emotional fluctuations seem to be tossed about in a sea of defilement. These individuals have deep-rooted defilements, which is why their minds experience significant fluctuation and are constantly in the state of turbulence. Now, there's an example that is shared by our teacher, Master Sheng Yan. He said that recently, a disciple who had taken refuge requested to meet our teacher, Shifu. Shifu was very busy, and it was not easy to see him. Now, this referring to when he was in Taiwan. After meeting Shifu, the disciple became very angry. Shifu told him to sit down and speak slowly without getting angry. Once he sat down, Shifu asked him, "Who are you currently angry with? You became so angry after meeting me. What did I do to make you angry?" He said, "Yes, people outside have been bullying me. And even you, Master, is bullying me. I wanted to see you, Master, but you won't let me." So Shifu told him, "You have become a Buddhist. You have taken refuge in the Three Jewels and started learning Buddhism. You should have fewer or no defilements." He said, "Yes, I don't have any defilements at all. It's just that these people out there, their defilements are strong and they are making me feel agitated." Then Shifu asked him, "So even I'm causing you defilements?" He replied, "Yes, I wanted to see you, but I couldn't. So I was frustrated." Now, you see, in the end, he claimed that he didn't have any defilements. And it was Shifu who had defilements. Shifu said, "If I'm causing you defilement, why did you come to see me?" So he said, "Well, I wanted to discuss and seek your judgment. Otherwise, I won't feel at ease." And then afterward, Shifu used a metaphor to explain to him. Shifu said, "Yes, you don't have any defilements. Your mind is like water, calm and peaceful when there is no wind. Your mind is naturally like this." He said, "Yes, my mind is free from defilement. But when I interact with others, they give me defilements." Sư said, yes, exactly. It's like wind blowing on water. When the wind is strong, there are big waves. And when the wind is calm, the waves subside. So with the wind being strong or weak, the water in your mind starts forming big and small waves, right? At this point, he said, yes. So Sifu said, that means you shouldn't cultivate your practice. And Sifu shared with him the story of the scholar in the Tang dynasty, Su Dongpo, and the encounter with the Chan master Fu Yin. I'm not sure if you have heard about this story. This scholar, Su Dongpo, had been a very good friend with this Chan master, Fu Yin. And they are very friendly with each other. And then sometimes, because Su Dongpo was a very, very well-known scholar, sometimes they would debate with each other, and then even sometimes they would like try to win over each other by writing certain things to see who is higher, who's more profound in their practice and learning. And one day, Su Dongpo was meditating on the other side of the place where Master Fu Yin was staying. And he sat in meditation, sitting very well. And he felt like his mind was not wavered at all. And afterward, when finishing the meditation, he came out and write a poem. And the poem was saying something about sitting in meditation, mind is unwavered, the mind is not disturbed by the 8 kinds of winds. The wind here referring to different kinds of afflictions, like being proud, being sad, being envy, and things like that. And finishing the poem, he sent his attendant, to give it to Master Fu Yin from the other side of the river. And Master Fu Yin, upon seeing the poem, he didn't say anything. And what he wrote on, a few words saying, fart, fart, fart. And then this is reply to give it to the attendant, and then give it to Su Dongpo. And upon seeing that whatever that Master Fu Yin was writing on that piece of paper, he was so upset. So he was in a hurry, and then he just go to meet Master Fu Yin over the other side of the river. And upon seeing Master Fu Yin, he was about to say something, Su Dongpo was about to say something. And Fu Yin just saying that, yeah, unwavered by the 8 kinds of winds, but was blown to here by 3 farts. So that's what happened about this story. This story is very famous in Chinese, and many people, even though they did not know about Buddhism, but they would be familiar with this story. So when the mind is stirred by external condition, it indicates that the root of your defilement is still there. The stronger the agitation caused by external conditions, the deeper your root of defilement. If the root of defilement is deep, the inherent power of defilement is strong. And even a slight breeze from outside can stir you up. If someone cultivates the practice, regardless of external circumstances and changes in the environment, it has nothing to do with them. At that time, affliction ceases to exist. The shallower the root of affliction, the less mind is affected by external circumstances. And after hearing this person said, "So I have such heavy affliction, and I didn't even realize. How strange." And of course, our teacher Sifu said that Buddhism is about working on our own inner mind. If we don't put in the efforts ourselves and instead follow the turning and movements of external circumstances, it indicates that our afflictions are strong. So this is the story of this disciple. So now, when afflictions do not manifest, it does not prove that they don't exist. Don't claim that you don't have afflictions yourself. It is impossible. If you genuinely have no afflictions, then you should be an ordinary person within the cycle of birth and death. Therefore, this means that it is not just about not expressing through language or external actions deep inside of ourselves, like a volcano. There may be fierce and dormant afflictions burning. Yeah, this is something that we look inside of ourselves. Then we'll see, are we most of the time really in a calm and stable mind or stable conditions? Or are we so easily disturbed by the environment? Yeah, this is something we could use as a reference for ourselves. Now, if you are troubled, it means either you don't understand your afflictions or you don't know how to overcome them. Everyone is troubled by their inability to overcome afflictions. Usually, people refer to worries as afflictions. Some parents worry about their children's university entrance exam or educational issue, while others worry about how to proceed with their business. These are commonly referring to worries, which are just part of it. So true afflictions are anything that corresponds to greed, anger, and ignorance at any time in any situation. Sometimes ignorance is referred to as delusion and illustrated in the Platform Sutra. It is like a thick cloud covering the sun, unable to be blown away by the wind, and the sunlight doesn't appear. Wrong views and afflictions act as obstacle to our pure and wise mind, much like a large dark cloud covering the sun. If this cloud is not blown away by a strong wind, the sun is not easily revealed. Does the dark cloud always have to be dispersed by a strong wind? Sometimes it is the case, but not always. This is just a metaphor, meaning that without the strong practice wind to blow away the cloud of ignorance, the sunlight of wisdom will not easily manifest. In the Southern teaching, there is no emphasis on external cultivation, but one should constantly generate right views within their own mind. There is also no great or small in the wisdom of prajna. It is only that delusion and enlightenment of the minds of all sentient beings differ. Those with deluded mind appear to be cultivating and seeking Buddhahood, but they are unenlightened to this self-nature. Hence, they are of small capacity. If one is to be enlightened to the Southern teaching, one should not attach externally or practice superficially. One should just constantly activate correct views in one's own mind, and the wearisome defilements of the affliction will be rendered permanently unable to defile one. This is to see the nature. Now, this nature here is referring to the nature of emptiness. So this is again and again the teaching from the chapter of prajna. And upon hearing this, somehow you will be able to relate it to quite a few stories of the Chan school, where the teacher and the student encounter in situation in the daily life, and somehow the teacher helped the student to come to certain realization. And without knowing these teachings of the Dharma Sutra, of the Platform Sutra, probably you will not be able to somehow understand what's going on with this story that, the student was hearing something and all of a sudden he got enlightened. And over here, this is what exactly it says, is that one should constantly activate the correct views in one's own mind. And then the wearisome defilement of the affliction will be rendered permanently unable to defile one. And this is to see the nature. Of course, we know the nature of emptiness. And just like they said that there's no great or small in the wisdom of prajna, only the delusion and the enlightenment of the mind of sentient being differs. Okay, so I'll stop my talk here.